So yeah, I think I've made it pretty clear that I'm a Sonic fan. Nah, but for real, Sonic X Shadow Generations, it's gonna be so awesome, I can't wait. However, in anticipation for it coming out, I figured I may as well get this video idea that I've had in my brain for a long while now. Sonic Generations is a pretty special game, just all around. Sonic fans love it, and it's often seen as a good starting point for people who aren't Sonic fans to get into 3D Sonic or just Sonic in general. Such a great celebration of the Sonic games that came before it, so when it first came out back in the day, I needed it. I had finally managed to get it by trading in some games with someone in high school, and then I played it practically non-stop on my dad's Xbox 360. But as much as I loved the game, I never really paid much attention to the 3DS version of it. I kinda just figured, well, I already had this version of Generations, why would I go to the mobile version, you know? But then, a long while after that, a friend actually lent me Sonic Generations 3DS, so I went home, played it, and I was greeted with an okay time. It's so hard to describe how I feel about Generations 3DS, because I don't think it's a bad game. In fact, I think it's a good game. I don't hate it, but I also don't really love it. It's kind of just there, you know? There are things that it does right, however, the things that it does wrong kind of stick out, sort of. Like how Modern Sonic, he plays fine, and I get why the game is in 2D, but it's like, I don't know, you could have added in like a trick system or something, I don't know. Like make it feel a little more like Rush, you know? Or specifically Colors DS. And why on earth they decided to give Classic Sonic a mandatory homing attack so he can do mandatory homing attack sections like Sonic 4 is beyond me, but whatever. But now, the thing that really threw me off was its selection and representative. Not only did the Modern Era not even have 3 stages for some reason, but the Modern Era is the only one that even has any sort of reference to anything in Sonic's mobile history. That being Water Palace from Sonic Rush and Tropical Resort from Colors DS. Which, yes, I know Tropical Resort is also in regular colors, but it's heavily leaning on the DS side of things, especially with the use of the Burst Wisp. You'd think that making a mobile version of Generations would be an excuse to celebrate Sonic's mobile history aside from 2 stages. So in this video, I'm essentially going to give what my dream roster would be for the reps chosen in Sonic Generations 3DS, to see if I can make this feel more like a mobile Sonic game oriented sort of celebration. However, just for fun, I'm also going to pick out reps sticking to the direction that they already went in. So yeah, let's begin. Alright, I'm going to go in order in which you play the game, however I'm going to save bosses for its own section. So let's start with the stages. First section of this video, I'm going to go over what my representatives would be, sticking to the direction that they already went in. Green Hill can stay for now because it's Green Hill, and so can Casino Night. However, I feel as if a rep from specifically the Sonic 3 portion of Sonic 3 and Knuckles might have fit a little better. I mean, I like Mushroom Hill, I just think there's better choices. Maybe the whole weird Sonic 3 music licensing issues were a problem or something, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure Hydrosity was free, so why don't we just put Hydrosity in there instead of Mushroom Hill? And yes, I say it like Hydrosity, fight me. And on the off chance that we couldn't add anything from Sonic 3 specifically, and you still had to pick something from the Sonic and Knuckles portion, I would still replace Mushroom Hill with Flying Battery, as I think that's probably a more popular stage. I don't know, that's just my opinion. On to Modern. Emerald Coast can stay, because of course it does, but get rid of fucking Radical Highway. It's a shadow stage, not to mention you had a perfectly iconic stage from SA2 to use besides City Escape. Or rather 2, because you can either go Metal Harbor or Green Forest. They're both pretty iconic in terms of Sonic's playthrough, so you can go either way, it doesn't really matter. Now in the 3DS version, they kind of just gave up on the whole 3 stages per era thing. I'm willing to bet due to time constraints, but we don't really know at the end of the day. So we're just going to add 2 stages in there, because come on, the 3DS can handle 2 more stages, come on. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a Hero stage, despite the special stages kind of already being the Heroes rep, but Let's add Grand Metropolis. Very popular, it's a good rep. Can't really think of another suitable replacement besides maybe Rail Canyon, but I don't really think people want Rail Canyon. Alright, now for the Modern Era, and the only change I really have here is adding an Unleashed stage. I think the best rep would be Dragon Road, actually. I don't really have any sort of special reason as to why I picked Dragon Road, it's just, you know, it's another Unleashed stage, why not? Boss fights. Alright, boy, I'm pretty much replacing them all besides the rivals themselves and Big Arms. Alright, so let's address the giant bio lizard in the room here. Look, it's an iconic boss, and the Support of Me remix is a banger. But it's still a shadow. fight. We're gonna get that in Sonic X Shadow Generation, so let's get something a little more fitting. And while this boss isn't exactly the most talked about boss ever, I still think it has a place in the celebration of Sonic's history, considering that it's the first boss that you fight in Sonic Adventure 2, one of the most iconic games in the franchise.
This game of tag is boring. I'm out of here. Finally decided to show up, eh? Okay, bring it on!
Monitor Bigfoot reporting to headquarters. Intruder has been located.
Copy that.
Some of you are probably like, oh yeah, he exists. Wait, why him? Okay, look. We gotta show some love for the first Sonic Adventure 2 boss, right? Like, come on now. There's 3 of them motherfuckers in the whole game, like, that was obviously a thing. And plus, I think having one of the bosses be Gun would be pretty fitting, right? Finally, as much as I love the Egg Emperor, it's kind of weird that it's in the modern era of all things, so let's replace that. And we'll replace it with the only 06 rep we're gonna add in this hypothetical of mine.
You keep getting in my way, you pesky little hedgehog! Very well. I'll take you out myself!
I think it's a pretty good pick. It's still a fight versus Eggman, so the pattern is still there. And it's definitely one of the more iconic Eggman bosses in 06, so yeah. And also it gives 06 a rep besides Silver himself. So yeah, that was essentially my version of Generations 3DS if they made it under the same ideas. Of course, you don't have to agree with me, but the neat thing is, we're not done. As you may recall, I also had a few ideas for how they could represent the handheld titles better, something that, personally speaking, they should have done. So, let's begin. Alright, so one thing, be fully aware that I'm pulling the reps for Turbo Trouble and Rush Adventure out my ass, as I haven't played Triple Trouble in a while, and even then I played the 16-bit version of it, and I just straight up have not played Rush Adventure. Now, as for the games that I'm pulling from each era, for the classic era, I have Sonic 1 Game Gear, Sonic 2 Game Gear, and Sonic Triple Trouble. For what I call the Advanced era, we have, well, exactly what you'd expect, Sonic Advanced 1, 2, and 3. And finally, repping the modern era, we have Rush, Rush Adventure, and Colors DS. So yeah, we have a pretty good lineup here. The latter 2 eras were a no-brainer, but with the classic one, I really had to choose a third one, since there were multiple that came out around that time, but I chose Triple Trouble as that seems to be the most popular one amongst the ones that came out. I think people may like Sonic Chaos, but I don't know. And do I have to tell you why I'm not using Sonic Blast? So anyway, let's begin with what I would add for this definitive hypothetical way of celebrating Sonic's handheld history via Sonic Generations 3DS. First up, the classic era. Let's go in order of levels, then the rival, and then boss. This will be my approach going forward. So first, with Sonic 1 Game Gear, you're probably thinking, well, that's easy, just Green Hill, right? Well, surprisingly no. Yes, Green Hill is in Sonic 1 Game Gear, but this is a case of iconic level and music. And while nothing is more of these things than Green Hill, I want to differ from the console version as much as I can get away with. So instead, let's add Bridge Zone. And I imagine this wouldn't be such a hard sell. Bridge Zone's level theme is an iconic song in the series and is definitely the best song in Game Gear Sonic 1. When you think of Game Gear Sonic 1, the first thing that pops into your mind is likely Bridge Zone. Also, the grassy parts of the level sort of emulate the opening level grassy feel that most Sonic games tend to do in the first level, so I'd say it's a perfect fit anyway. As for Sonic 2, there's really only one choice and it's Underground Zone. Of course it's freaking Underground Zone. It's damn near the only level that most people know or like, probably. It's honestly the best choice, and Underground Zone's music is so damn good it'd be criminal to not remix it. Hell, Jun Senoue already did that himself. Now for something I'm less knowledgeable about, that being Triple Trouble. Now, I'm not sure what level people would like the most from this game, so if anyone who has played it watches this, please comment as to what you would pick. Or hell, honestly, just do that in general. I would love to see comments like that. But anyway, I'm just gonna go with Robotnik Winter, mainly because I just realized that we're without an ice level in either generations, and I'm willing to bet Ice Cap wasn't included in any version because of the whole copyright thing, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, Robotnik Winter, I don't have much to say on that. Now for the rival fight, we can actually keep Metal Sonic here. He has a boss in Triple Trouble, but the beginning portion has Sonic race him while on a jet board or something, so why not have the rival race be that through the same location while avoiding obstacles? It'd be pretty unique, and it could go into a foot race in the latter half instead of a boss like in the actual game. So it's still sort of in tune with what 3DS was doing. As for the boss of this era, personally speaking, I would prefer Silver Sonic or Fang, but I don't want to stray too far from the formula. That being, classic Sonic has a classic Eggman fight, modern Sonic gets a non-Eggman fight, and then the final final one being a modern Sonic versus Eggman fight, which is honestly a formula I didn't even realize till writing the script. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but I kind of want to stick to that formula. But Eggman doesn't really have good fights to pick from, I'll be honest. But hey, the Death Egg robot doesn't play anything like its Sonic 2 or even 4 counterparts, so let's apply that here. I'm going to put the first boss of Sonic 2 here, the Pitmaster. It's a fairly simple, not really fight from Sonic 2 that could use a complete overhaul. Why not have multiple pits on a flat surface that you have to jump over and bait Eggman to drop bombs on? I don't know, just spitballing here. So yeah, that'll be my lineup for the classic era. Now for the ones I'm, for better or definitely worse, more familiar with. The Advanced era. Let's just hop right into it with Advanced 1. I'm personally gonna go with a very infamous level, that being Egg Rocket. Yep, non-debatably the worst level in the game, but remember, this is Generations. If Silver in the HD version is anything to go off of, Generations can even turn shit to gold. So Egg Rocket is infamous for being an absolute mess, which is why the level stands out more to me. And Generations making it good will finally also bring what I believe to be the best level song in Advanced 1 some justice. Next is Advanced 2, and this was the easiest one. It's Music Plant. It's absolutely Music Plant. Why would it not be Music Plant? It's definitely a favorite as far as I've seen. The music is catchy, the level concept is unique and fun. Like, just imagine how creative they can get by using different instruments between the two Sonics. Like, doesn't that sound awesome? Finally, Advanced 3, woo. Now, up to this point, we've been severely lacking in city-like levels, so let's remedy that with Route 99. Look, you won't hear me praise Advanced 3 a lot, so credit where it's due. I do like how the first level isn't a grassy level. Route 99 is pretty cool. Gives us the city aesthetic, the music is catchy, and hopefully Dips can't find a way to fuck up one of the only good designed stages in Advanced 3. A tall order, since around this point in the actual game we got greeted to Radical Highway, a stage pretty well known for the quality dive in level design in Gen's 3DS. But hey, it might be fine. Dips is pretty damn good when they don't put bottomless pits everywhere, so hopefully that would have shined through. Alright, on to the rival race. This one's easy. Gemerald from Advanced 3. He's fast like everyone else, then you do fight him in Advanced 3 a good amount, and he's also an ally now, just like Shadow, so the replacement does fit. As for the boss, the only non-Eggman thing I could really think of, unless I'm drastically forgetting something, is Mecha Knuckles. I'm serious, I can't really think of anything that's not Eggman related, and I figure we need one of those. I'm sure he has some fans, and it fits the criteria. Not as iconic as, you know, Bio-Lizard or Chaos, of course, but this is all I got, man. As far as major bosses are concerned, Eggman was 90% of the time front and center in the Advanced game, so I kinda had nothing to work with. If y'all can think of something else, then by all means, as long as it's handheld and in the same era. So now we arrive at the final stretch, that being the modern era. Look, these are halfway represented already, so let's just knock this out. Water Palace and Tropical Resort stays, so yeah. All I really have to add is the fact that, personally speaking, I would have put Asteroid Coaster, but that's probably just my bias speaking. Tropical Resort is a fine one to go with. But we still have one more stage, and that's Rush Adventure, which I have stated I don't have much experience with, so if anyone has a better rep, please comment. But otherwise, I'm going with Plant Kingdom. Really? I'd just like a forest level in here. And the level looks fun, so not much to say there, really. Rival time! I'm pretty sure this one is obvious. No other character comes to mind than Blaze, of course. We can probably just replace Blaze with someone else that needs rescuing in that area. You'd be boosting to finish with her trying to hit you with fire attacks like in a rush fight. I could see them pulling that off pretty well. Now, as for the boss, I was kind of racking my brain on this one for a bit, but in the end, I decided to go with one of either two ones. That being the Egg Eagle from Sonic Rush, or the Egg King from Sonic Rush. I'm not sure how iconic the Egg Eagle is, but it's personally one of my favorite mechs that are in that game, and the Egg King can fuck right off. It's a pretty damn infamous fight as far as I'm concerned, so putting it in Generations would give me the run back I want. Whew, wow, and just like that, our roster is complete. Pretty good lineup of representatives if I say so myself. From the popular, to the obscure, to the blatantly obvious and nostalgic. I think there's something here for fans everywhere who appreciate Sonic's handheld history. Of course, I can't change the past, but nonetheless, this video was fun to do. Nothing too special, just saying my opinion and wild ideas out there for someone willing to listen. I really do hope y'all enjoyed this little what-if video of mine. And if you wouldn't mind, I'd appreciate subscribing or simply leaving a like. And please let me know what you would do differently in either version of Generations in the comments, if you think my picks are absolute crap. So with that all being said, guys, peace out.